Hey guys, we're back finally with another SCP video. It has been a very, very long time since we've done one of these. At least it feels like it's been a long time. It probably hasn't been, but we're going to do a Christmas-based one for the holiday. It's going to be top 5 winter SCP monsters by a channel I haven't actually looked at before. It's a top 5 scary videos channel. I might watch more of their videos because scary videos are always quite entertaining. If you like the video, make sure you let me know, leave a comment, leave a like. If you don't like it, then ignore everything I just said. I'm aging this video. I hope everyone has a happy holiday. We're going to dive right in. It's nice to get back to my reactions. Let's go.
But the fire, it just might kill you because it's anomalous. A little darker than expected, eh? With winter fast approaching, it's always nice to cozy up and consume some media that reflects the chilly weather.
True.
Personally, I like playing winter
it's
level
freezing
video
at the
games,
moment.
but we can look at some winter SCP monsters too. The top 5 winter SCP monsters. Let's do it. Coming in number 5.
The Yule man's got to be in this.
SCP-251. Here's a classic piece of wintry imagery for you, a snow globe. What's more chilly and cozy and possibly Christmassy than a little glass orb full of water and white particles? Maybe there's even a little scene in there, a tableau.
Snow globes have water in them? I don't know why I didn't know that fact. Yeah, thinking about it, that's quite logical. I genuinely didn't realize it was water.
Hell, it might even play a tune. This snow globe is extra special though. Ever since it was brought into Foundation custody, it hasn't stopped snowing in there. The thing is, nobody's moved it in years. Like, it sat still on a table in a locked room,
constantly snowing.
yet still manages to continuously present blizzard conditions. Weird, right? Well, that's not even the half.
It doesn't
of it.
sound very
See, no
bad.
one's allowed to be near this thing for too long. If you're in close proximity to 251 for an extended period of time, you'll start getting weirdly violent and emotional, sometimes even xenophobic. Nobody needs their mental state lowered any more than it already is lately, so it's for the best that we all avoid it at all costs.
So it's an adorable look. Honestly, that sounds like most families in the winter season. Don't they all just start tearing each other apart anyway once they've been with each other too long? My family tends to. Are they sure that's the snow globe, or is it just the holiday seasonal stress? But no, to be fair, yeah, I can imagine, yeah. That doesn't sound so scary though. It's just an inanimate snow globe. Just keep it in a room, locked room away from people. Problem solved.
However, those with especially morbid curiosities might still feel an urge to go check it out. The snow globe is partially animate, and what I mean by that is that it changes over time. Photos taken over the years prove it. All the little dioramas inside shift and move and become new scenes if it's left alone long enough. They're all wintry and chilly looking, but none of them are full of festive cheer or warm nostalgia. Nope, every scene 251 has exhibited is violent and morbid. These scenes range from the fantastical, like a man running
Sounds like a good snow globe to me.
Realistic brutality, like police officers forcing a man to his knees at gunpoint or children being dangled over a well by their ankles. A fun little oddity for sure, but the fact that
who hasn't wanted to
and causes folks to lose it.
Who hasn't wanted to throw their child down a well by their ankles at least once in their life? Let's be honest, that is a very real ideation of many parents.
Is cause for concern. Maybe stick to the goofy Disney one that plays It's a Small World. Coming in number 4, we've got SCP-924. These things are downright terrifying. Known as ice water men, that's just what they are. Pale, humanoid, antler-adorned creatures that thrive in freezing cold aquatic environments. They love to ambush their prey by popping up out of holes in the ice and dragging them down to their frigid doom. Absolutely horrifying.
That sounds terrifying.
Don't run one either. Even if you're above water and they're below, ice watermen can swim up to 30 kilometers per hour and can go for a very long time. They've got specialized gills that make it easy for them.
They're like underwater Usain Bolts. They kill you. That's horrifying. I've never heard of this one before. I actually might have to look into this one. What was it again? SCP-924. They're underwater deer people that drag you to your death. Honestly, I'm glad I live in the UK. We don't really have many frozen lakes here, at least not near me.
Them to survive even
safe.
a kilometer below the surface. After they snag their prey, their victims will remain submerged for up to 6 hours. After that, their bodies show up somewhere in the area with all of their internal organs liquefied and removed. Corpses also tend to show signs of
Hang on. Not to nitpick here, but how do you know the internal organs have been liquefied if they're removed? Is it because there's no hole that they've been taken out of? So, like, they had to have been liquefied because there's no obvious hole in the body? Or do you just assume that they've been liquefied because they're no longer in the body? Like, were they just sucked out the nose or something? Like with a straw.
Pressure, stress, and are filled to the brim with bacteria that are very proficient at breaking down muscle tissue. They tend to do most of their hunting around popular ice fishing lakes. Most reported victims have been ice fishermen, which sort of explains why this isn't a wider spread story. Ice fishing comes with plenty of its own inherent danger, and folks disappearing tends to get chalked up to
I can't imagine how ice fishing works.
Creatures.
Ice fishing is ridiculous. They literally have a stick with some rope and they manage to just catch the most ridiculous sized fish. I've seen it on YouTube. I don't know how valid that means, but I've seen it on YouTube. It's ridiculous.
Only folks knew the
Very
real
skilled.
cause. Scarier still, after the Foundation caught wind of these creatures, they discovered something new. One might think that these horrid beasts would stick to the water, but no. A mobile task force assigned to a lake where they had been reported found that they're actually able to support themselves above water. So this seems to imply that even if you're not specifically ice fishing and are on a vessel of some
just
sort,
kidnap you out your
could be
bed.
in big trouble. Terrifying.
Nah.
Coming in at number 3,
No thanks.
SCP-5140. When first reading about this snowy mountainous SCP, it appears to be a big pile of dangerous corpses. Estimated at around 100 bodies, this is a mass burial ground full of hikers who couldn't conquer Mount Everest. These cadavers are cold, like really cold, like they'll sap the warmth entirely out of your body cold. They're ectoentropic,
Oh, that's horrifying.
meaning that if they contact anything emitting warmth,
This one is genuinely scary because it could be very real. Because, like, there are a lot of bodies on Mount Everest. I think that's because it's technically classed as, like, it's too dangerous. You're endangering, like, other people's lives to recover the bodies. So there are literally a lot of bodies on Mount Everest. So, like, the idea of the corpses on Mount Everest, like, sucking the life out of you, that's actually quite scary. Oh, this one gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like this one.
they will absorb that heat without getting any warmer themselves. So any human that comes into contact with one of these will likely end up as cold and dead as the bodies. Yikes. But that's just the beginning. The rest of the article comes in the form of correspondence between Base Camp and a team of Mountain Climbing Foundation agents. Their mission was to discover and bury as many of the instances as possible in order to prevent further casualties. But as they made their way along, previously buried bodies became unburied. And then they started moving, disappearing under people's noses, even tearing up tents at their camp. Things got more and more dire, and eventually the person communicating with Base Camp found themselves in an inescapable position. The corpses seemed to be everywhere, outnumbering even the highest estimates.
They're like zombies? Oh, nah.
Team members were assimilated into the frozen mass of bodies. Communication was soon after cut off. But there's even more, if you're willing to hear it. After this incident, a more in-depth analysis of the mountain was performed, and the results were terrifying. See, folks had assumed that Everest was covered in bodies, right? You know, just the adventurers who tried to scale it and didn't make it. But there aren't just bodies on the surface. There are bodies inside the mountain. In fact, 45% of the mountain is estimated to be bodies, and that number is rising faster than it should be. Coming in at number 2, we've got SCP.
What? Stop. Nearly 50% of Mount Everest is just bodies. Nah. No, that can't be real. I need to look this up. No. Just hold your horses. I need to look this up. How much of Mount Everest is bodies? Over 200 bodies left on Mount Everest. No one's entirely sure how many exactly were, because 2/3 of the people that died on Mount Everest are still there. Oh, there's 200 of those soul heat-sucking vampire corpses. No, thank you. Well, that is something I can cross off my bucket list and never do, is climb Mount Everest. No, thank you.
3799. Watching the snowfall can be mesmerizing, right? But be careful. That magical crystalline powder can be deadly. It's cold, it's slippery, and it doesn't give a good goddamn about you. Being immersed in snow is not fun, especially when you're compelled to seek out more cold.
Very gritty.
I should probably explain where I'm going with this. SCP-3799 is a gigantic sphere of anomalous snow that is floating above an island that I will not be naming for the sake of safety. This orb has magneto-hazardous properties, and as such was being studied by a Foundation team. They set up shop out in the middle of this snowy wonderland and did their best to understand how it worked. This big old snowball generates snow in a fixed rate.
Hang on a minute, just put a pin right there. So, they don't know how the Orby snow biosphere works, but they sent a team into the center of it to test it. I'm guessing the team ended up dead. This sounds like a terrible idea. If you want to test it, why don't go like from the outside and test it from the outside in, you know, like to protect the team. But then again, I know SCP, they like to tend to just go in and find out later.
Range around it, causing a permanent winter of sorts. It doesn't just make for one big never-ending
Oh my
snowball
god,
fight,
that's
though.
so much
It also
snow!
compels people to become one with the snow. As mesmerizing as regular snow is, this stuff is extra interesting. Folks who observe it over long periods of time will become obsessed with it and feel the need to become totally immersed. Once they do so, hypothermia sets in and they eventually die, but their corpses don't stay behind. The snow generated by 3799 seems like regular snow, but if a dead body remains within it, that body will also break down and become snow. The human body is impure, made of flesh and blood, but snow is clean and bright. Join us in the cold, brothers and sisters. Coming in at number 1,
oh my god,
SCP-4.
it turns people into snow, so it's essentially ever growing because it's getting a constant influx of bodies. Well, maybe not constant, but that's kind of scary. Imagine breaking down into snow. I mean, it's quite a nice way to go, I suppose, if you were going to die. You know, I wouldn't mind being turned into snow when I died. That's a potential.
4666.
Not bad.
You've heard of Krampus. You've heard of Bad Santa.
The Yule Man.
This holiday season,
the Yule Man. Let's go.
To be honest, though, you probably don't
The
want
Yule
to encounter
Man.
this thing during your holiday festivities.
I knew it was
For
coming.
most of the year, it lies dormant. Nobody will see or hear from it during spring,
Absolutely
summer, or
terrifying.
fall, but the winter, that's when it shines. The tall humanoid figure will appear at someone's house for 12 days every December, usually corresponding with the final days of the year and going into the first 2 days of January. The time that 4666 is active is known as a Weissnacht event. To be targeted during this time,
the
your
Yule
home must be
Man's
relatively
terrifying.
rural, must contain a child under 8, and should be surrounded by snow for the entirety of the period. If these conditions are
Aha! Now you know how to beat the Yule Man. Never have children, or only adopt over the age of 8. Problem solved.
met, you could be visited by this horrid thing. For the first 7 days of a Weissnacht event, only the children in the house will notice its presence. They'll claim to see it around the property and will wake up in the middle of the night to watch it looking at
I
them through
hate the
window.
Yule
On
Man.
the 8th
Oh, he
day
gives
of
me
Weissnacht,
nightmares.
The parents will start to believe the kids. Footsteps will be heard on the rooftop and bad odors will permeate throughout the house with no apparent source.
He's
They don't
so
think
creepy.
It's 4666 though. They think it's a haunting or a stalker. On the 12th day, it gets really scary though. There are 2 possibilities here. One is that nothing will happen. The weird happenings will stop and everyone will wake up safe. Except the kids will find presents waiting for them, usually crafted from the remains of other dead children.
Lovely, yeah.
However,
yeah,
this
lovely.
happy
They're like
ending
creepy
only
dolls, aren't
occurs
they?
about 15% of the time. The other 85 sees everyone in the house being killed, save for one child. Said child is then kidnapped and brought to an unknown location. These killings are not pleasant, often taking on a ritualistic feel, with family members first incapacitated.
Yeah, I'm never having kids. Cross all of these off my bucket list. Avoid snow, don't have children, don't climb Mount Everest, don't have snow globes.
And then killed in sight of each other. Not
Cross
there
winter,
have been some
Xmas
accounts of
is
the
gone.
terrible hovel that the children are brought back to, and it feels a little like a cursed Santa's workshop, with the kids forced to make toys out of the bodies of other kids while eating meager meals. So while you cozy up by the fire this year, try not to think of this dark version of wintertime rituals. Sheesh.
Don't worry,
As if the
don't
season
worry,
wasn't
never
close
happened
enough,
to
now
me.
you've got some tales of monsters that will chill you to the bone. What'd you think of the list? Were you already familiar with these freaky creatures? What's the best winter SCP monster out there? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your
Best SCP. Okay, let's see. What would I say would be the best winter SCP? I would say, I mean, it has to be the Yule Man. Come on. The Yule Man is literally, I think anyone who's ever heard of that SCP, they will never forget that SCP. It's genuinely terrifying. Like the idea, like how it works. Oh, it's horrible. It's like the Grinch. If the Grinch was actually evil, or like people think Krampus is bad. The Yule Man would eat Krampus for breakfast. Hands down, worst SCP that I've ever read so far. I can't think of a worse one that I've read or read about. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely the worst one. I can't think of a worse one. I'm thinking of a worse one that I've seen and reacted to, but it's hands down got to be Yule Man. I don't like the Mount Everest one either. It's a bit too close to home because I know the Foundation's not like got its own lore and all that lore, and it's supposed to be like alternate, etc., etc. But like, I don't know. because there are genuinely bodies in Mount Everest. Oh, I don't like it. It was pretty spooky. But that was my top 5 SCP winter monsters for this season. I wanted to do a Christmassy based one. I might do some more wintry Christmassy videos before the holiday is up, just because I felt like spoiling you guys. It's about time we get back to the reaction videos, because I know you guys like them. I like them. We all like them. As I said, make sure you leave a like or a comment if you're enjoying the video, and I will see you in the next one. Until next time, guys, bye! And happy holidays.